Hello there, world of tankers. I'm Blitz, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about the T34 special offer. Now, the tank came into the store today for the price tag of 5,500 gold, which is a extremely cheap price tag for a tier 8 premium vehicle. In fact, it's around 2,100 gold cheaper than it is to buy it off of the tech tree. But not only is it 2,100 gold cheaper than the normal one, it also comes with 30 days of premium, which is 2,500 gold there. It comes with 500,000 credits, which is 1,250 gold. Comes with the camouflage, it also comes with an attachment, and it comes full equipment slots. So you're pretty much getting a fully loaded T34 plus 30 days of premium to grind all those credits out, plus you're getting a nice hefty amount of credits with it. So obviously that is a very, very good deal. But of course, you want to know if the T34 is actually a good vehicle, if you're going to like the playstyle. So in today's video, I'm going to be telling you everything you need to know about the vehicle, the statistics, the armor profile, and of course my personal opinion on whether or not you should be dropping your money to pick up this tank. Real quick before I do get into this video, I'm currently doing a Object 252 giveaway. I'm actually giving away 3 of them, so if you didn't know this already, I'll have it linked in the description down below, but all you really need to do is subscribe and join the Discord, and the instructions will be in there. You don't have to pay anything, all you really need to do is kill a Sheridan or a T92, and you could get yourself an Object 252. So make sure to subscribe. But other than that, I'm going to get right into these statistics. The T34 sits at a base damage per minute of 2,036, which definitely is nothing to brag about, but it's also not too bad. It's what you'd find on like your IS-5, your IS-6, especially because this tank does 400 damage. It's pretty much on average with most of the other 400 damage guns. But the thing that this tank does not share is the amount of penetration. It's sitting at 248 millimeters. That is the most pen you will find on a tier 8 heavy, other than the M6 Experimental, which carries the exact same gun. Most tier 9 heavy tanks wish they had a gun like the T34. You load the premium, you're going up to 297 millimeters of pen, which means even if you're going up against tanks like a T95, you can still penetrate its lower plate. So this has got to be one of the most effective guns for a tier 8 heavy tank. Moving down to the gun handling statistics, this tank has a base aiming time of 2.81, which is actually a little bit on the longer side. You'll notice in these replays here, I will definitely be waiting quite some time for my aiming circle to go all the way down, because if you don't, it really does tend to miss its shells. Now it does actually have a very nice dispersion value at 0.317, but the big issue is the dispersion factors when moving, rotating the tank, and rotating the turret are completely awful at 0.250. That means that as soon as you turn this tank, you jerk it to aim at somebody else on the move, the dispersion values just really bloom on it, and then you've got to wait for your long aiming time to take a while and go slowly back in. So that is one of the issues I do find with this tank, is the dispersion factors when moving it are really poor. One of the traits of the American tech tree is that they usually carry a lot of gun depression, and the T34 does not let that down, sitting at a nice 10 degrees. Now what that means is you are easily going to be able to work dunes, ridge lines, especially because this tank has a very beefy turret, which you'll see. It's just a nice tank to use your gun depression, especially if you've got vehicles like an Object 252 that are trying to face hug you. You're actually so tall that you're able to aim down on the weak spots on the roof of their tank, maybe hit the rear deck on it. It's a very nice vehicle for penetrating and overmatching spots that you really wouldn't be able to do in like an IS series tank. And finally, moving down to mobility, the T34 has a decent top speed at 35 kilometers per hour. But because this tank does weigh a whopping 65.14 tons, there's a bit of an issue. Just like the T28 prototype and the T95, the Americans have done it again and shoved a just completely awful engine into the T34. So it's not able to go very fast because it has an effective power to weight ratio on hard terrain of 9.77. And soft terrain, you almost cut that in half at 5.70. Now what that means is this tank is barely going to stay at 30 kilometers per hour. I'd say it goes on around 25 to 26 on average. Climbing up hills, it is just like crawling slowly up there because it's going maybe 10, maybe 12 kilometers per hour up some steeper slopes. It is definitely one of the more slow tanks in the class, and that is one thing that I'm not a huge fan of, because you'd think it's got a decent top speed. It's not the biggest of tanks. It would be able to go places pretty quick, but no. It definitely does not get to places very quickly, so you want to pre-plan where you're going to go in this tank. you're going to want to figure out a position where you can use your gun depression, use your turret armor, and that will be the best spot, because some of these games you might not have enough time to reposition once you're halfway through the match. Looking at the armor profile, you can see it's got really good turret armor and it's got really bad hull armor. Now, one thing I don't understand is why Wargaming has never buffed the hull armor of the T34, judging that they buff the hull armor of the T29, which is pretty much the tier 8 version of this vehicle. But yeah, the hull 158mm thick, 160. You're really not going to bounce anything, unless of course you are using your 10 degrees of gun depression. Then it's about 204, but still really not going to bounce that much on the hull armor, especially the lower plate. If you look at these little corners on the edge of that lower plate, those are only about 73mm thick. Even dead in the center is still only about 100. But if you're shooting at the edges and you have a vehicle like an RHM, you can easily penetrate that with high explosive, taking upwards of 1,000 hit points off of the T34. So that's a little bit of advice. If you're going up against that tank with any 152 or larger gun, just shoot HE right in that little lower part. You can't hit the middle though. The middle will be troll to penetrate. Looking at the side armor, it's also extremely weak. 76mm, again, all 152s can easily get through the front part, and actually the rear, you can see here, is only 51, which means now all 122s can easily pen high explosive on the side of this tank. It is honestly one of the weaker tier 8 heavies for the armor department on the hull. You can see the rear still only 51mm thick. It is extremely weak to penetrate this vehicle's hull armor. You can't side scrape in it, there's really not much you can do. The tracks are a bit troll though, because you can see those are some big, thick tracks. So they actually will get the occasional bounce, or you'll just be tracked and spun out. However, we've all been looking at this big red turret, almost looks like a light bulb, and you can see, yeah, very, very thick, 273mm. That manlet, 279. You're not getting through that with heat because, of course, heat armor. If you take a look at it, shooting with heat, 532 thick because that's the spaced armor. You're never penning the gun mantlet on this tank. Getting through the cheeks are extremely hard as well. It gets thicker and thicker as the edge comes out, and even shooting at the turn of this vehicle is extremely hard. And of course, because it is a very tall tank, if you're in an IS series, you're going to be aiming down like here. You can see just how menacing of a vehicle the T34 is to aim at. Now you're all probably looking at that cupola on top thinking, well, can't I just penetrate that if I'm going up against the vehicle? Honestly, it's very, very troll to pen that, because if you're hitting anywhere on the roof of this tank, it's not going to penetrate. Now this little spot here looks like you can penetrate it, but hitting that is about 1 in a million chance, especially if you just stick your gun up. But I definitely would not suggest to shoot right above the tank. If you're going to try and pen the vehicle, I'd say shoot high explosive at the roof of it, or really just hope for your lucky stars that you manage to hit the cupola on the T34. I'd only suggest it if you're very close range. But it is possible, and it is pretty weak. You can actually pen that with high explosive, again, in a 152. The T34 is very prone to 152s. Now, one little secret about the T34 is don't shoot the rear of the turret. You can see that that's actually about 204, 210mm thick. You do not want to hit that rear plate. It is extremely troll, so don't hit the rear of the turret if you do have the shot of the tank. Actually shoot it in the side or shoot it in the rear of the vehicle. So that is the armor profile of the tank. You can see it's a very situational based vehicle. You do not want people shooting at your hull. You pretty much want to hide it at all costs. My tips and tricks for this vehicle, all you have to do is really hide that hull. If you're on a map like Oasis Palms, use the dunes to your advantage. You've got that amazing 10 degrees of gun depression, use the dunes, hide your hull armor, and you're pretty much going to bounce everything flying at your turret. If you're on a map like Himmelsdorf, use the berms, use the rubble, use everything you have to your advantage on your terrain. As long as you can hide your upper and lower plate, you'll pretty much be bouncing anything coming at your turret, as it probably is one of the strongest turrets tier for tier in the game. On to the big final question, is this tank worth the 5,500 gold price tag? In my opinion, 100% it is. Not only are you getting 30 days of premium, you're getting 500,000 credits, you're getting the tier 8 premium of course, you're getting it fully equipped and with a camouflage and attachment. You're pretty much getting an entire big bundle plus a premium tank, which is really, really good. So if you don't own the T34, I would definitely suggest you look into buying this bundle. The T34 is an excellent tank. When I play ratings, I hate going up against it, especially when it is in a hull down position, because I know it's always going to pen me because it has such an amazing gun, and as well, I'm really going to struggle to pen it back, so I just hate going up against these things. They are very strong, so if you're a decent player, even a beginner can do very well in the T34 just because it has such nice penetration values. So I would definitely suggest to pick up this vehicle. Of course, if you already bought a tank like the Object 252, it never hurts to shove another tank into your collection. So I hope you guys did like this little review I had here. Of course, if you do, make sure to hit that like button down below. If you don't like it, well, you know what to do. If you learned something in this video and you'd like to see more reviews like this, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below, as it does help my channel out so much. Of course, if you want to join that giveaway, as I said, make sure to hit that subscribe button, make sure to join my Discord. But other than that, guys, I hope you're all doing well out there. Stay happy and healthy, and I'll see you in the next one.